Ali Armorsmith, 5 mana, 2/7, taunt. Whenever this minion deals damage, gain that much armor. So I think how it works, if it fights back, you gain armor. So if this card will take damage from any source, even if it's like, if your opponent hits into it, if your opponent's druid is hero power hitting it, you'll get 2 armor. It does damage anyway. I think how it works. I mean, stat line is kind of weird and weak. It can be removed by hard removal, I suppose. Like, it's really weak against priests. If priests will dominate ladder for some reason, I think there will be no reason to play this card at all. Priests have Shadowed Pain, they have Cabal Shadow Priest. If I think right, I think like Dragon mixed with Control and Pinside Potion and Cabal Shadow Priest Shadow Word Horror, if it will be a thing, then everything just kills it in the priest deck. Takes it for free. And you also don't care about armor. Just a small creature. Other than that, it's just a better Ironforge Portal. Except you can Shield Slam immediately. You're getting 2/7 with Taunt. Just a better Mogushan Warden. Plus you gain armor. I think in most cases it will require 2 hits at least to be dealt with. Sometimes more. Sometimes it will stop the board completely from acting. It's really powerful then. It's also Taunt minion. Wizards are introducing some cool taunt buffers for a warrior. I doubt they're good enough to play, but this minion by itself seems quite decent. So again, depends on the meta, depends on how easy it is to deal with 2 toughness creatures. There'll be a bunch of priests, I don't think they'll see any play. But other than that, I think card is pretty good. It's definitely worth playing. It's better than Ironforge Portal. Bomb Squad, 5 mana, 2/2. Deal 5 damage to an enemy minion. Battle Cry and Death Rattle deal 5 damage to a hero. It's like a neutral spell. Something you can use with Purify, I suppose. You don't want to Purify it even. 5 mana, 2/2, deal 5 damage. That's weak. It's a good evolve target. Bomb Squad into evolve, get a 6 drop. But we got this 6 mana 1/1. You can evolve into 6 mana 1/1. The one who summons a 6/6 ogre as a battle cry. Yeah, I mean, I guess an evolve shaman you can put 1, play with it a bit. It's okay card for arena, I suppose. You can kill 5 drop and have a 2/2 on the board. Kind of tempo. Is it worth taking 5 damage to the face? Probably not. In competitive decks it won't see any play, maybe in some fun decks. So. Burgle Bully, 5 mana 4/6. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, add a coin to your hand. But said is good, and I think he just sell out in a bit since he got this card to review. I really doubt that we'll see any play. It's okay. Just 5 mana 4/6. You might say it's good in Rogue, but if you have Tomb Pillager, it's a 5/4, almost same stats, and it's cheaper. For 5 mana you have other Drakes, and this doesn't give you any defense. Interesting. I mean, there was a Tread Prince Galvix, 5/7, right? It wasn't so great. It was doing even better against spells. This card is the weakest stat line. Actually, getting a coin is probably better than getting it in any spell for a rogue. If you have like auctioneer, you can recycle it into anything. You're definitely not playing it in any other deck other than rogue, right? Rogue has the most usage from the coin. Still feels like Drake is better. Maybe a one-off in Rogue is okay. I think it's not. It will not see play at all. Close so. Double Gangster, 5 mana 2/2. Battlecry summon 2 copies of this minion. Like a Force of Nature, except you can buff it with new release cards and use it and get like a bunch of overstated creatures on the board. It seems good for Paladin who has a bunch of tokens and has synergy with buffing minions. Like all this, I'll talk about these cards later. Like this 2 mana 1/1, give everything +1/+1. Also 1 mana spell, give minions in your hand +1/+1. Even if you buff it only once, it's already good enough. From the other side, it depends on meta really, if this card is worth playing. Because it doesn't do anything except developing a board, and board can be cleared by 1 AoE. So Abyssal Warden from Warlock, this new card introduced, does 3 damage, it's perfect. You need to really buff it a bit more, and even if you buff it a bit more, there is like deal 5 damage for priests. For the dragon. You might hit a jackpot, and if you play it in Paladin, and if you use this Dawn Hencho, hit a 5/5 on it. It's like the best. Then you get 3/7/7. Again, really depends on the meta if this card is good enough to play. I would say it's good enough in Paladin. And let's have Jack and Zip Gunners. This will give random minion in hand +2/+2. Yeah, I think it will see some play for sure. I think it's good enough in Paladin. I'm not sure about Hunter. Might even be good enough in Hunter. Mean Enforcer. Then if you turn, give all minions in your hand +1/+1. Alright, so if you play it and you play double Gangster, you have 4 or 5 drops. And you have a bunch of 1 drops. I find it difficult to have so many 5s in your Paladin. In your aggressive Paladin list when you want to have a lot of tokens. Effect of the card. Like, a similar effect, it will die probably next turn after you play it. Like Emperor type of effect. Doesn't make it any easier. I mean, on turn 5 you probably don't have too many minions in your hand. You can buff your double Gangster, but then you would rather play like a 4 drop. You want to play 5 drop and then play 5 drop again. Even if it's a 3/3. This one on the weaker side, I think. You can play like a slower Paladin. You need to have a lot of creatures in hand still. You play like a mix of 5 drops, 1 drops, and then in the middle game you probably have like a True Silver. You probably still play it. Having 2 True Silver still seems okay. I would say it's either one off or just none. Knuckles, 5 mana 3/7 legendary beast. Hunter. After this attacks a minion, it also hits the enemy hero. It's a good Houndmaster target. 5 mana 3/7, it's a bit understated. Hunter doesn't have a great 5 drop. Just a tiger. You can trade, it's like a good race creature. You can trade and it also hits face, and if you want to kill it, it's not so easy to do. First I looked at it, I was like, it's kind of bad. It's a bit better. Buff with this Houndmaster, it's a 5/9, which is really nice. What I'm afraid of is like beefy creatures from your opponent, right? If you play it into a board when your opponent has a creature with 4 life and a bunch of attack, like Tomb Pillager, it's so easy to kill it. You can backstep, try to Pillager, it's still alive. Doesn't do anything, right? So you should probably play it in a more aggressive Hunter, but then you should also play Houndmasters. I don't think you can just play it in a face Hunter, can you? Actually, it's a beast, and there people will probably play this 3 mana Zip Gunner, which gives a +2/+2. And there's also a 2 mana 3/2 who buffs your creature. So if you buff it at least once, yeah, I think it's good. If you play buff Hunter and you land the buff on the Knuckles, by itself it doesn't seem so bad, it's just a bit underwhelming. But if you land at least 1 buff on it, on 4 attack it's already good. It's much better on 4/8. So I think it's CLC play. Good card. So Priest Legendary, Raza Chained, 5 mana 5/5. Autocry if your opponent has no duplicates, your hero power casts 1 this game. Forever. You play it on 5, you play hero power for 0 mana. So even on 5 you're already getting like hero power for free. You can play Justicar, play hero power for free afterwards. The question is how often Priest just plays hero power and does nothing else. That's another story. But from now on I think it's good. It's a good creature, of course. And it also requires you to have no duplicates, so it's something to include in the arena deck. You can also play Confessor's Palatrus and play Confessors on 7, and you will have a 0 mana cost hero power. You can also play Garrison Commander and Confessor's Palatrus. And then on 9 mana you can go for Raza, you can go for Confessors, Garrison Commander, double hero power, fills the board with a bunch of beefy creatures. Will not happen so often, I guess, but it's okay to play 2/3 in your Arena Priest. Doesn't harm you too much. Auto include in the Arena Priest, of course. Expect Hogrider. Autocry if an enemy minion has taunt, gain charge. Alright, you can charge the things from below, trade 1/1 if your opponent has it on the board. There might be a taunt totem. You can kill a taunt totem and summon a 5/5. Wow. Or you can just play against non-taunt deck, and you will have 5 mana 5/5. It's okay for arena, and I think it's not useful for constructed at all. Brass Knuckles for mana 2/3 for warrior. After your hero attacks, give random minion in your hand +1/+1. Oh, that's a way to buff Alloy Armorsmith, right? If you make Alloy Armorsmith a 3/8, that's a big deal then. A 3/8 creature, whenever it attacks, it deals damage. You gain that much armor. That's crazy. Weapon is really overpriced, so 4 mana 2/3. Holy shit, it's so bad. Effect is good. If you get a 3/3 on the board, it's like a 4 mana 2/3 summon a 3/3. And you're also not getting the stats immediately, but the stats might be better. So you might think about it as Arathi Weaponsmith. You get a 3/3 and you get the weapon. This way you get one more charge as well. A bit vulnerable to Heights and Jones, I suppose. Needs to use some sort of a tempo deck to play it. I guess Taunt Warrior might be using this, I suppose. If you play Alloy Armorsmith, it seems like a good card. If you're landing a buff on Alloy Armorsmith, you have like 2 minions in hand, you can expect at least once to get the buff on Alloy Armorsmith. Just if you'll take a look at it and say like it's like a 4 mana, choose 3 minions in your hand and give it +1/+1 to any minion. Like even without having this way of having this benefit of attacking something with it, it might be worth it. I mean, buffing Alloy Armorsmith seems really good. You can buff Acolyte of Pain. 2/4 Acolyte of Pain is really crazy too. I'm not sure if regular Control Warrior will use it. Maybe some sort of Tempo Warrior might find a better use of it. Like, if you play Alloy Armorsmith, you'll have a bunch of armor, so you can probably take damage twice with it, and if you take damage twice with it, you can probably like, kill Azure Drake. You can hit Azure Drake once and then play Alloy Armorsmith, it doesn't die. Interesting. It might see play. Jade Lightning 4 mana Shaman spell. Deal 4 damage, summon a Jade Golem. So Jade Golem card for Shaman. As I said, it's really difficult to evaluate such cards yet, because I don't know how many Jade Golem cards will be introduced. Card itself, it's a bit overpriced. Shadow Bolt. Yeah, I mean, I don't see using deal 4 damage and summoning a 1/1 spell in Shaman unless you're playing Jade Golem cards. It's not worth playing. But if you're playing Jade Golem cards, it's a good card for sure. If you're getting a 2/2 and dealing 4 damage, I think it's good enough. You're getting 3/3, it's perfect. You're getting 4/4 and so on. It's already doing much more for such mana cost. So we'll see it playing Jade Golem decks, if such will be playable.
This video is brought to you by G2A.com.